So, good morning. Someone is coming to say hi. Hi.
Hungry.
You're hungry? You're hungry. We had a good workout earlier, and now you're having a cookie. I love you. Can I do the podcast now?
No.
No. I have to do the podcast now. You're being recorded. Okay, bye. I love you. And there goes every air of professionalism that I might have even thought of having. Yeah, so so this morning, before coming in to do the podcast, we had a exercise competition, if you will. And I made the girls a bet. I said, look, you get XYZ done and as a minimum, and we'll run out to Starbucks and get a Frappuccino or something. They were like, oh, Frappuccino. I'm like, really? Just give me an espresso and move on. But anyhow, that's what they wanted. So they got it. They had to do a minimum of, what was it? 50 push-ups, plank for 2 minutes, and 20 crunches. And then they did them, and these are little kids. So, it's cool because I'm getting them involved in the things that I'm doing to improve my health. Anyhow, thanks. That was the preamble. Now here's the fun part. Pathological narcissism. We want to keep our kids healthy. We want to keep them away from the woke crazies, the predatory leftists who are unfortunately in the schools, and we have to release them into the schools unless we can homeschool or put them someplace where, God willing, the administration is not completely corrupted yet. Okay, that kind of lays that one out. But I mean, have you noticed that the majority of predators and crazies and progressives and leftists, etc., they're angry, they're narcissistic, they want your kids. In fact, that is kind of the meme, that leftists don't have their own kids, they have yours. There is a certain truth to the fact that your enemy wants your kids. Okay, they're coming for your kids, because if they can turn your kids, then they can affect and infect every generation after, right? So here we are talking about pathological narcissism. Now, there's a lot to it. So we're really just going to go through. I created a list here. I copied this list down of thoughts and whatnot. And I'm going to run through it because it's a lot and we could talk on it for a very long time, but we're not going to, because this is supposed to be an average of 15 minutes or less for the podcast. And there we have it. Okay, so these are opposites. Now, if you think about it, some of these opposites are polar opposites where there's no gradient. You're either, like, for example, a decision is either constructive or destructive. Okay, you either delay your gratification or you have immediate gratification. Now, delay gratification to what degree might be where there's a gradient or a spectrum, if you will. Okay, but I'm going to run through this because I think it's really important for us to kind of know what are the sides or the targets that we're looking for. So, constructive adult-like decisions versus destructive childlike decisions. Okay, and therein lies that split in free will, right? Obviously, we know indecision, no decision is a negative spiral down, but constructive decisions where we don't slam the brake on, destructive decisions where we don't slam the brake on, those can also lead us into negative spirals as well. So the more constructive the decision, the more polished and powerful it is, the better off we are. And all of the pros on this, or the good things on this, help lead us to constructive decisions. Okay. So all right. If you guys remember, observing ego was the ability to kind of step back from a situation, even while you're in the middle of it, and watch it and see what's going on, and then change your energy, change the direction of the conversation, whatever it takes in order to be more mature, unless, of course, it's life or death. So, mature ego habits, by the way, habits are defenses, okay? So a psychological defense, whether it's positive or negative, is a habit, okay? So a mature habit, if you will, then are things like altruism, humor, anticipation, suppression, which would be taking something that you want to do, recognizing that you can't get that done at this time, and you shuttle your energies over to someplace you can. And then, of course, there's assertiveness, courage, things like that. Okay. So immature defenses or immature habits or an immature ego are going to be a whole, I mean, there's a ton of them, right? And they all result from having poor personal boundaries, holes in your personal defenses, your personal boundaries, and your resources are all scattered. Hence the reason you're crazy. But seeing things black and white. Yes, there are absolutely times when there is good and there is evil, but this is on an ongoing, constant, 100% of the time kind of basis. It's extremist. Denial, gossip, blaming and shaming, cancel culture, resisting authority, holding grudges, cancel culture, dependence, hopelessness, helplessness, lying, stealing, slandering, cancel culture, jealousy, cowardice, cancel culture, regret, revenge, aggression, sadism, manipulation, cancel culture, and anything else that says, let's screw them before they screw us. Okay? All right. So, so delayed gratification versus immediate gratification, right? I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. The girls had to earn what they got as a reward today. They had to do it. Now, I gave them a defined time period. It wasn't like I'm going to give you an hour to do 50 push-ups. You've got, 15 minutes, go. Okay. And we timed them, and they both got it done actually fairly quickly, which was really cool. Point being, however, as soon as they did it, I said, okay, we have to do the following things. Boom, boom, boom. You guys get those things done. I'm going to get what I have to get done, and we're going to head out the door and go enjoy ourselves. And they were like, yes. And we did it. But they had to do it, not complain, not have a pity party, not have a tantrum, all that. Then there's recognizing others versus not recognizing others. So here I am on the podcast, and I'm talking about how happy I am and how grateful I am and all the hard work these guys have done in exercising and everything else over a period of time that they were able to do these exercises, and I'm recognizing them. Okay? Seeing me do this, and then I see what they do with kids that they're working with on a project in school, or they're describing different things that people have done for them. That's pretty cool to see. So an advanced observing ego versus a poor, immature, or weak observing ego. Again, that ability to step outside of yourself, look at a situation and say, do I need to dig my heels in and defend my point or not? And if not, then what can I do to make this win-win? There are times when it is win-lose and it's life or death, but somebody else has to lose. It's not going to be me. Strong conscience versus poor conscience. Okay. And strong intuition versus poor intuition. Okay. So as we remember, conscience is internal and intuition is external. Intuition is based on information you have that is outside of you, that you have taken time to learn, to gather. You've got this education, and you're saying, okay, my emotional resources are telling me one thing. All right. My intellect, what I've learned, what I've experienced is telling me one thing, and my intuition and the things that I'm going out and finding are telling me something else. Sometimes I've told my kids, just go research it, come back and tell me. So when we planted our garden this year, we had an area of the garden that was pretty shady, but we wanted to use it. And so I said to my youngest, I said, look, it was your idea to grow in that area. What do we do? And she said, well, why don't we grow these things? And she started listing a few things. And I said, why don't we do this instead? You research low light or shaded vegetables that we can grow in that area, and we'll go buy a bunch, and that's what we'll plant in that part of the garden this year. And she was like, cool, let's do it. See what I mean? So there we are. And then, of course, it's helping others after helping ourselves versus harming others, using others, manipulating others. All right. Now, why do I say after helping ourselves? It's that safety brief that you get when you're writing it or when you're flying in an airplane. Flight attendant stands up and says, hey, if we lose pressure, mask is going to fall. Throw your mask on first. You've got 3 to 5 seconds to get that on before your lungs collapse and you pass out. So put yours on before you try helping someone else. Okay. And therefore, in line with this, don't grab somebody else's mask, grab your mask. Your mask is falling from the ceiling. Put your mask on. Don't take someone else's. Okay. And all of these come from the difference between a well-defined boundary and a poorly defined boundary. If you remember when we've talked in the past about your kids have had trauma, bullies have picked on them, whatever the case is, you have a choice to see how they are going to behave, how they're going to react when trauma hits. But in large part, they're going to take their cues from you and how you react and what you do to defend them, to stick up for them, to confront the school administration or the teachers about what's going on, and to make sure that it's handled equitably and accurately and completely to the defense of your child. All right. I mean, I have gone and had conversations with law enforcement about stuff that was going on with my kids. I have spoken with many different people in the legal sphere about things that have occurred. And we have taken, on several occasions, appropriate action and had resolution. And it resolved in the correct way. Okay. So listen, bottom line is these are listed here so that you can have a target to shoot towards in terms of guiding for yourself, guiding for your kids, etc. So I'm not going to belabor the issue. Let me just bless you and send you on your way. Father, I thank you for today. Thank you for all the parents, the moms, the dads, the kids that listen and watch these podcasts. Lord, I ask that you would bless them, strengthen them, encourage them, give them hope, help them, give them discerning spirits, help them to know when to stand up, how to stand up, and the best way to stand up to get the results that they need to strengthen, unify, and protect and develop their families. In Jesus' name, amen. And listen, be well. Take care. We'll catch you again tomorrow.